This is going to be epic. We have Nicholas Hutchison with us. He's the founder of Bookthinkers.
So the Bookthinkers business started in 2017. Yeah, over the last couple of years, we've grown our audience to 1 million impressions a week, over 100,000 people in the audience. And I just love helping people find the perfect book to solve whatever solution they have it or whatever problem they have at hand.
People that stop learning, like if Vinny didn't keep learning, after he was 40 or 50, right? He's still learning today. And I think that's an important thing. In my mind, that's what I wanted to do. I haven't done it as effectively as you. So I'd like to talk about that. And I'd also like to talk about, your school and what the vision is with that. I'm really interested.
Welcome to the Investor Financing Podcast, where we interview real estate investors and lenders so you can learn all the secrets to getting your projects funded and scale your portfolio. And now, your host, Beau Eckstein.
Beau, how are you doing, brother? I am dressed up over here in colorful shirts. That's what I love. Spring is here, summer is here, and Vinny's going to get into his closet, bring out all the flowery shirts and the colorful. This life is to enjoy, right, Beau?
That's right. Yes. And you got a lot of energy. You had a lot of coffee this morning or something.
Hey, this is without coffee, buddy. No, I just wanted to, share. This is going to be epic. We have Nicholas Hutchison with us. He's the founder of Bookthinkers, a company dedicated to spreading the power of personal development books. As a leader of the company, Nicholas is focused on developing insightful content and interviewing the world's top the top nonfiction authors for his podcast, Bookthinkers, Life-Changing Books. And as a digital nomad, he travels all over the world. Nicholas runs his business from a different country every month and gives all the credit for his lifestyle to some of the early books he read. And, Bookthinkers is working its way into the education tech space also, ed tech, he calls it. So be on the lookout for some of the fun updates very soon. Nicholas, good to have you, brother. It's such a pleasure to welcome you into our show today.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here. I love the energy. You guys have an amazing production, the Vinny and Beau show. I can't wait to distribute this everywhere. Make sure everybody gets to listen to it today.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you. Tell us more about you, where you were born and everything and how you got into this business.
Sure. So I was born and raised in the Boston, Massachusetts area here in the US. And I went to school up in New Hampshire for a couple of years. I got a degree in business. I worked for a few years as a software salesperson. And I had a very definitive inflection point in my life, late teens, early 20s, where I was operating from a place of ego and insecurity. It was a very confusing compass to be working from. I read a couple good books and everything changed. Life got better. I started to focus on impact. I was fulfilled and happy. Like you, I started waking up earlier and working more. And so here I am today, spreading the positive power of personal development books.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And we see your Instagram account. You have hundreds of thousands of followers and all that. So, share with us, how long you've been doing it and where is your trajectory going, right? And how can people, really get the most out of the books? I know we used to read, I bought thousands of books in my lifetime. I'm a product of books, really listening to the tapes and CDs and 8 tracks and reading books.
Sure. Well, I'm sure your listeners will love this. My journey started with Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, just like so many of us who have dabbled in the real estate space. And so after reading that book, I started with a lot of insecurity around money. And it was so funny. After reading one book, I not only could participate in the college discussions with all of my friends, but I sort of knew more than they did in some respects. And so I thought, wow, I condensed decades of information into days of application. My knowledge has grown so much. I could participate in these discussions. I covered up some of my insecurities, like where else can I apply this? And how can I help other people go through the same transformation? So the Bookthinkers business started in 2017. We got our bearings on Instagram, I think about 2 years ago. It was probably late 2018 where we really started to figure it out on social media. And yeah, over the last couple of years, we've grown our audience to 1 million impressions a week, over 100,000 people in the audience. And I just can't wait to see where it continues to go. I just love helping people find the perfect book to solve whatever solution they have it or whatever problem they have at hand.
Love it, Beau.
Yeah, no, that's great. So I'm just curious, after Rich Dad Poor Dad, I mean, what would you say has been the most, and probably it's hard to say because you read so many books now, but what's another like top 2 or 3 books that you have really kind of imprinted in your life the most and changed you for the better?
Sure. So right after reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, I was introduced to the author Tim Ferriss, and I read The 4-Hour Workweek. And so Vinny mentioned in my introduction that I love to travel and work remotely. I've built my business in a way that it can be operated from really anywhere behind a computer screen. And so the 4-Hour Workweek taught me that reality is negotiable, that I can design a lifestyle and a business that suits whatever makes me happy and fulfilled. Just like Vinny said too in his intro, or before we jumped on, I didn't want to be working a 9-to-5 for somebody else for the rest of my life. I wanted to do something that made me happy. And that book opened up a lot of doors. It taught me that I could eliminate or delegate a lot of low impact activity. I could focus on the 80-20 rule, 80-20 principle, and I could work from other countries. I could embrace discomfort. So that book had a huge impact on me. I'll mention one more, The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
Yes.
Yeah, that book changed everything for me. So many of these books changed everything for me, but that book taught me the importance of delayed gratification and that small steps in the right direction over a long period of time will lead to disproportionate success, right? It teaches you the compound effect. And I love that example in the book that if you take a penny and you double it every single day for a month, you'll end up with like $10 million. And that just blows people's minds. But that could work in any other area of your life. It could work in your health, in your wealth, in your communication with people. And so those are some of my favorite books.
It's so profound. Oh my gosh, compounding. I mean, you just said that penny example. It just struck me. Literally, when I read that also, it's amazing. And incrementally, we can grow each and every day, little bit. And the compound effect of that incremental change in our life, what you just said, Nick, is amazing. And that's where we will be changing our life for the best life ever. We only have one life right here, this time, this moment. We should never worry about yesterday. I mean, when yesterday was there, we should have worried then.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, if we didn't worry then, don't feel guilty about it. Just think about today, right now. I love the book Power of Now, by the way, by Eckhart Tolle. My wife and I were discussing this morning, before breakfast. And she says, I really like Eckhart Tolle. She's been listening and watching, Oprah Winfrey and Eckhart Tolle's, I think they've come up with a book and all that, and listening. The same thing is true for that Power of Now book. You want to say any comments? Beau, you've read it too, buddy, right?
Well, no, what I was going to say is that it's actually, I love these kind of conversations and these guests because this is what I'm more interested in. I mean, I do real estate finance for a living, but I'm really more into like personal development. And like when I was growing up, I just didn't like school. It wasn't a good fit for me. It didn't intrigue me. And as I got older, I became a student. I didn't become a student till probably 30 years old. And I never opened books. And now it's such a game changer to, like, when you're passionate about something, to be able to learn about something you're passionate versus some curriculum that's really not applicable to your life that people are forcing upon you. So I'm curious, Nicholas, you prefer Nick or Nicholas? What do you prefer?
Nick.
Nicholas.
They both work for me, but we can go
right.
with Nicholas since that's what it says there.
So it sounds like what you're doing almost is creating a school for entrepreneurs or people that want to improve, right? Personal development. Can you kind of talk to us about that? Because I find that very fascinating. And I know we're always on a personal development. It's either a mindset, right? By Carol Dweck, right?
Dweck, yeah.
Dweck mindset. And your closed or growth mindset, right? And so people that stop learning, like if Vinny didn't keep learning, after he was 40 or 50, right? He's still learning today. And I think that's an important thing to really dive into, is that if your growth mindset, the sky's the limit, and you can create these virtual realities or these real world realities, right? Where you don't need to work a 9 to 5. You could be in Colombia, you could be in Mexico, you could be on the beach working from your laptop. And in my mind, that's what I wanted to do. I haven't done it as effectively as you. So I'd like to talk about that. And I'd also like to talk about, your school and what the vision is with that. I'm really interested.
Sure. So the fixed versus growth mindset, Carol Dweck thing was a really important realization for me early on. And that's why I love shows like this, by the way, because I discovered that book through a podcast called The Science of Success. And when the host talked about that difference between the fixed and the growth mindset, I said, wow, I have a fixed mindset in so many different areas of my life. And recently, science has unveiled the fact that neuroplasticity is a real thing. Our brains can change over time. We used to think that we were born with a certain set of skills and a certain brain and it couldn't change, but that's not true. And so once you remove that limited belief, the sky is the limit. And so by leveraging these books and this kind of experience, the cumulative experience that sits behind me in this video right now, anything is possible. Yeah. And so Bookthinkers, when I first started reading these books personally, I was talking about them on my personal social media. And I saw a lot of interest from people who realized that I had that inflection point. I changed drastically. They said, I want a little bit of that too. What books do you recommend for this? What books do you recommend for that? And so we started to gain a little bit of social momentum on Instagram a couple of years ago. And now Bookthinkers is providing book recommendations and summaries to, like I said, 1 million people a week. And the success stories from people coming back and saying, this book changed my life, or that recommendation changed my life. It's so fulfilling to know that reading isn't dead. People read a lot less than they used to, and we live in sort of that instant gratification society. But, Bookthinkers, I guess, is trying to make a push to make reading sexy again, to make young professionals realize that these books hold the power to really whatever they want in life. And so what are we doing right now? We're doing a couple things. We started our podcast about 1 year ago. And so we've had around 50 guests so far. We interview one author per week. And we've had some people in the real estate space like Grant Cardone on the show. And then we're also putting out a piece of technology soon that will act as a virtual bookshelf for people who are reading these books. Because one of the biggest problems in personal development is that reading becomes a form of entertainment instead of a form of behavior change. The goal for all of these books is to change your behavior, but sometimes you read these books and nothing changes. Why does that happen? There's a couple of reasons it happens, but people go into these books, they circle things, they highlight them, maybe they even write down a couple notes, and then nothing happens. So what our platform is going to do, it's going to allow a virtual bookshelf for you to log your biggest takeaways from each book. And then you can set systematic reminders that will push you notifications to review more frequently, sort of with diminishing frequencies, so you can retain more from the books you're reading. And then your subconscious starts to look for opportunities to implement this stuff. And it might pair one idea from Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I read 6 years ago, with maybe a book that I just finished today. And those kind of things can collide and create a new idea. And so we're just trying to extend the lifetime of your reading cycle. We're trying to use the principles of repetition to help you retain more information from the books you're reading. And so that's sort of the next step for us. And we're also thinking about a Bookthinkers University too, like an online thing. That'll be a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, Nicholas, that is so wonderful what you just said. When we read 100 page, 200 pages worth of book, you're so right. What are the three? Always in my mind, I just say, what are the 3 takeaways that I can implement in my habit, in my thinking, in my actions, so that I can be a better person, right? After reading that book. It's so profound what you're doing. I'm so fascinated how you're thinking that this is going to send reminders. We are creatures, we forget 17% of what we know today. In 3 days, we will only recapture 17%. And, so the reminders will be amazing, amazing, amazing. By the way, just to put a little blurb on it, it's always selling, you see this little banner in the back. I just got it in the from the production. And I wrote this book, Positivity Brings Profitability. Anybody, if you'd like to, please look on the, Amazon.com And my other book has 400 reviews now. 400. I know. Well, when you kind of presented it, man, I really thank you in my living room. A lot of people bought it, and we have 400 reviews worldwide. And I know, Nicholas, you also kind of shared that book on your platform. I really value you for that, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you. I have dabbled a little bit in real estate, so I do own a multifamily with a couple of friends of mine, and I'm getting more into the space. As I sort of mature in age and sort of mature in knowledge, I realize how important it is to read books like the two that you just referenced, and I'm happy that you wrote them.
Oh, no, thank you so much. And, real estate, everybody listening to us, again, this show is, I've been a syndicator. I've done 34 syndications so far. And in real estate, in the commercial space, and now we are digging deeper and deeper into assisted living space, because I'm 69. I'll be 69. My wife says, you're 68 still until August 27th, So, I'll be 69, but the fellow citizens, 10,000 of baby boomers are turning 65 every day in USA. So there is a huge, huge need for senior housing. And that's what we are going into: multifamily, assisted senior living, and memory care.
Yeah, I love the idea of the university. That really kind of struck a chord with me, and I could see that like blowing up. You could have like a live masterminds in your membership area where you got the author right there, and people are able to ask questions this is just what you just presented to us is just kind of eye-opening to me, where I'm thinking, okay, what if the average person actually took the time, not just to read something to read it, but actually took time to really think about it, right? Like, because that's sometimes we read something, but it doesn't really click. I mean, because we're just reading to turn the page to get to the next page. But if you actually take the time to think about it and take notes, so I like your platform idea where I could actually highlight some ideas and then it's evergreen, right? I can go back and I can see. Is that kind of how the platform works?
Yeah, so you'll be able to standardize and organize your notes from audiobooks, physical books, ebooks. You put them into the platform, you tag them, they're searchable. And then if you choose to, you can turn on those systematic reminders. So just like Vinny was saying, you forget information so fast. So in the first couple of days, we'll ping you a couple times. And then with diminishing frequency, meaning like you'll be able to retain it for a longer period of time if you've reviewed it a few times up front. And so maybe you'll get hit on week 2, and then week 4, and then week 8, and then week 16. And like you're saying, if you have a situation like maybe you're going to walk into a negotiation with somebody for a real estate property, and you remember you read Never Split the Difference 6 months ago, you want to review your notes real quick, you'll know exactly where to find them. You'll have them right on your phone. And so it'll expand people's ability to become limitless, because like you're saying, if you're reading and you're just flipping pages, your attention's going down. Simply by looking for up to 10 takeaways to put into the platform, you're already advancing your retention. You're already advancing your reading skills. And then being able to review them, that's just a whole different kind of level to it. So I'm excited to help change that narrative a little bit, because sometimes people say, if you just read a book for entertainment, even if you take one of Vinny's books as an example, there's so much practical information. But if you flip through it, put it down and move on, then it's the same as playing a video game or watching Netflix. Like, your life didn't change. Nothing really happened. And so we want to change that narrative,
I love it. I love it. I think just very cutting edge, very, something that people can use, and they will be able to get 10,000, percent return on investment. I call like that. Really, Nicholas, because a lot of us want to grow. A lot of us want to really become a better person. It's just that life comes on the way. I just say that, family, kids, stresses, strains, earning, and, all those things come on the way. But if we are able to be reminded of the things that made a difference in our thinking at that moment, and those same paragraphs kind of stuck us again and again, which we can change our mindset or our habits, That'll be immense, immense. Let us know where you are. I will be your number one person right there, and I'll promote it with all my investors, all my channels, my universities. I have online university, hundreds of students, and then we're building another platform, which our goal is 500,000 students in that one. Anyway, no, I get fired about.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, thank you so much. I get fired up too, so I love the mutual energy.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think it's going to be fantastic. Look at our people. Please do let us know where you're from. I know somehow StreamYard doesn't show us all the viewers at one platform. They have some glitch, but we are at 7 channels right now. And of course, please comment. Please give us some reviews and share this podcast also, or broadcast all your channels, everybody listening and watching us, also. So thank you so much. Hi, Ken. Nice to meet you. Chris, Raj, Jonah, everybody. Yeah.
I'm curious on Nicholas, what's your take on, like, for you, do you actually time block reading time, or do you just do it kind of on a routine basis, morning or nights? I find that in the mornings, for me, for some reason, like, I like to get up really early in the morning and do my learning in the morning. I feel like it's very peaceful for me to do that. So I'm curious on what you do, and then what do you do a little bit different on each book, which kind of helps you retain? And I know your tool helps that too, but I'm just curious, like, before you had thought about putting this tool together, what were you doing to really kind of get the most out of the book?
Yeah, sure. All great questions. So my reading time scheduling, how I approach it, it's always changing. And so right now I do time block every single morning. I go through the Savers routine from The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and part of that is reading. And so I try to get at least a half an hour of reading done every single morning. And then based on demand, like podcast guests and paid promotions and things like that, I definitely do a lot of reading in the afternoon, but the most peaceful place for it to happen for me is actually on the weekend. Oh. So I love waking up Saturday, Sunday mornings, relaxed schedule. I know I'm not full of meetings, and I know I don't have other obligations. And so I'll sit down with some coffee in the morning, and that's where I can get 3 or 4 hours of reading done. That's my favorite. And as far as my approach, I'll never forget, I listened to this podcast about a guy, and I wish I could go back and find it, who removed the television from his living room and he put up bookshelves. Oh. And what he would do was he would read like a whole shelf of books, and then he would go back and he would review all of his biggest takeaways from those books in order. And he would write his biggest takeaways on the inside cover. And so that's what I started to do, was like, I started to write my biggest takeaways on the inside cover, and then I moved them to an Evernote document. And then we came up with this idea, like, that's inefficient. Let's automate that process. And so for me, it's been a little bit manual. We've tried to put out this piece of technology 2 other times, and we didn't really find product market fit. We sort of outsourced the development. It didn't really work. We learned a lot from those failures. And I think that this third stab is going to be a little bit more, I think it's going to find a little bit better product market fit. And it's going to do exactly what I'm doing manually, but automated. So systematically review those book notes over time. And that number 10 is important for me, because when I first started reading, I'd read a book like Think and Grow Rich or something like that. And I would write down everything that I highlighted into this Evernote document. And I'd come up with 100 takeaways. But how in the world are you supposed to implement 100 takeaways? Yeah. So with the platform, we're looking to cap it at 10. We don't want people going into a book thinking that they're going to implement 100 things. You need to implement a couple things. Like in Vinny's case, maybe it's 3, maybe it's 2, or it's 1. Yeah. Sometimes that's a lot for people, depending on how much you're reading. So anyway, those are some of the things that I'm doing. But I guess one other thing I'll add is, if I'm listening to a book, I'm always making sure that I'm able to either voice record the note into my phone or type it into my notes section, so that when I'm done with the book, I can go back, look up the actual quotes, look up the actual sections of the book, write them down. If I'm on a Kindle, Kindles have a really nice function where you could just highlight something and press save and then export all your notes after. Yeah. And then with physical books, which is my favorite thing, I tear them apart. I'm writing in the margins, I'm writing notes, I'm writing thoughts, I'm circling things, I'm ripping pages out sometimes. So I like to really get in there.
That's the way to do it. We can rip apart 2-3 books and order again the same book again to put it in the shelf too.
Yes. I do that, yeah.
No, that's fabulous. I'm so fascinated. I'm so excited. How can people reach you, Nicholas? Tell us more about that, bud. Yeah.
The best place to find us, our biggest and most interactive community, is on Instagram at Bookthinkers. And although we have some other people that help out with the page, I answer every single DM that we get.
Oh,
So
wow.
if you want to chat to me, if you want to present a problem maybe that you're facing and see if there's a good book that I could recommend, please shoot us a DM. Happy to answer. You could also search Bookthinkers on any podcast platform. You can find our podcasts. We interview a lot of cool authors. You might see some that you recognize. And we also have bookthinkers.com, our website. So those are probably the three places to find us today.
Awesome. Awesome. So what can we, I know you shared the great platform that you're building. What other things are in works, you think, as we move into this decade and, next 20 years?
Yeah, Bookthinkers has so much potential, and we're fighting. My business partner, Ryan, and I, we sort of fight with opportunity overload. So, there are some thoughts about becoming a publisher. There are some thoughts about becoming more of a formal PR agency. We're getting into some social media management right now so that we can help drive some growth for authors who are looking to create a page specifically for their books. We have the Bookthinkers University idea where we can act as that bridge, Beau, as you said, between some of these really hard to reach entrepreneurs and authors and our community. So we can sort of act as that bridge. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff. Those are a couple of the things I guess that we're really weighing right now.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I mean, nothing can take away, the space and the knowledge that we get from reading books. I mean, that is so indispensable. I say that, right? And wow. Any last comments, Nicholas, that you could share with our audience, how they could get better readers? Huh?
Yeah, I would just recommend
children. That's the other part I was thinking. If you are also emphasizing for the children at the age, young age, are you thinking into going that way also or no?
Yeah, we were thinking We were thinking of creating a Bookthinkers page specifically for children's books. Yeah. And that might still be in the works. It's definitely on our list of opportunities. I mean, I wish that I started reading earlier, right? Yeah. I love that saying that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. Yeah. And so if you haven't picked up a personal development book or you've never given it a shot, think about where you want to be at the end of 2021. And then think about what's the difference between where you are today and who that person is. Maybe there are a couple skills that you could improve on or a couple people you could learn about. And then go out and get a book that can help you cover that skill gap or help you learn a little bit more about those people you're interested in becoming, because then you'll be interested and you'll stick with the book. You'll follow through with it. And once you get to that other side, you'll see how much power there truly is in these personal development books. Remember, real behavior change is always the goal. These are not for entertainment. A lot of them are entertaining, but they're not for entertainment. You need to apply what you learn. And also, I guess that reality is negotiable, that Tim Ferriss line. I truly believe that it is.
Fabulous.
Maybe we can get Nicholas as a guest for our charity event we do.
That'll be fantastic. I know we are really, we wanted to introduce everybody listening to us. We are doing a special fundraiser to give back to the society. It's the Charity Water organization. They give.
Oh, I'm familiar with Scott and everybody.
Yeah, Nicholas. Yeah. Oh, that'll be so kind. If you would like to, help us promote, we are going to do it. It's 100% charity water across the world in 39 countries. Actually, they bring water to the masses of people who have hard time by digging tube wells and other things. And we are just getting on a bandwagon. I think it's going to be coming up in May, 2-day event. It's going to start on the midnight of Friday night until the midnight of Sunday night. And our goal is to raise $50,000, which is a small goal, but and I'm going to pay 10% of that right away. Then when we start on the midnight of that Friday. So, I think it's going to be fabulous. I think it's so good. All our successful people, we make so much, but we need to give back. And a lot of people give back anyways, but I think charity water might be. Beau, you want to talk about it a little bit, bud? Yeah.
Oh, no, that's good. I didn't know we were doing a 12-hour, but that sounds fun.
No, 48 hours.
Oh, 48 hours.
On the night of Friday up to midnight of Sunday. I know you were busy. You missed the meeting. Nicholas,
Well, I'd love to get involved.
Yeah.
I'd love to get involved, send over some more information. I can help promote it and maybe, depending on the format, jump in and talk a little bit and whatever I could do to help.
Oh, that'll be amazing. God bless you. No, that's fantastic. We are also looking at helping our passive investors. Also, we are putting together a passive wealth symposium coming up also towards the end of this month. We got the landing page. It's free, actually. I just want to let everybody know, it's going to be 12 or 16 great speakers we have lined up who are going to talk about tax ramifications, the CPAs, the cost segregations, the attorneys who will be talking about, how to invest in real estate. Just wanted to mention that. And that's going to be coming out also very quickly. I hope everybody will, jump on that bandwagon. We are thinking 500. It's virtual summit, right? It's a symposium. And we want to do it every year. Again, it's free, totally free. We want to just make a big impact in people's thinking how to invest in great real estate or other vehicles like that. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. I'm actually, this was great because I'm energized right now, Nicholas, because I'm just thinking about all the books that I still haven't read that are at my house right now. And just picking one up and saying, this book's going to be a game changer, right? Like looking at it differently. It's just not a book, right? It changed my perspective completely. Like, let's read this book and let's pick a few things to implement and see how this can change my life for the better. You're on mute, buddy. You're on mute.
Vinny, you got muted.
You're on mute. You're on mute. Vinny.
Okay. Take my books over there, Nicholas. I'm telling you, I'm showing everybody my studio here. But look at those books over there. Magic of Thinking Big. I picked it up 44 years back. I still have that book over there, Nicholas. Magic of Thinking Big by W.J. Schwartz. I'm looking at The Miracle Equation by Hal Elrod. I'm looking at The Greatest Salesman in the World. I picked it up in 1978. And I always write the date and sign.
Me too.
On the first page.
I do too, actually.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. I sign every book and I date it. And if I gift it to somebody, then I have them sign it and date it as well before they give it back to me. Yeah.
Now, I've not met all the authors, but like I've got, Zig Ziglar's books, Tom Hopkins' books, Tony Robbins. I mean, you name it, right? I mean, the books are amazing. What a show. What a show. Thank you, Nicholas, buddy. Thank you so much for coming. And you're a great friend. We appreciate you. And let's make it fun. And we'll have tremendous time. Love to bring you also and record you on my podcast, which also we have 100,000 downloads now within just a year or so. And love to come on your podcast if possible.
Yeah. And
maybe even in our master coaching. I think a lot of people can learn so much, and we could even bring you into the symposium. Let's just think. Yeah, I know, sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit. Well, I'm looking forward to all the collaborations, and the two of you host a very awesome show. I was enjoying listening to some episodes before I jumped on, and then to get to participate. So it was a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you. No, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Vinny and Beau show. Please put a notification on your iPhone, Android, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. As you know, I live near San Francisco, the greatest place, hopefully, on earth, right here. And we'll see you next week. Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you, brother. You're amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the Investor Financing Podcast. For show notes and useful resources, please visit investorfinancingpodcast.com. For questions or comments, email info@investorfinancingpodcast.com. If you enjoy our show, please share it with your network. Until next time.